Alright, so I just wanted to start this off by saying I'm extremely blown away by the publicity that my video has gotten. And right now, it's currently at 4.4K views, and that's insane. One of my older videos that's roughly the same amount of views took like almost a year and a half just to get half of the views that it has now. It's just insane. And the fact that I have 274 subscribers now is mind blowing. I didn't think that was ever gonna happen. And all the comments, it's just like the greatest thing. Like, it's completely changed my whole view on like my motivation and stuff. It's just hell, the first comment I got was enough motivation just to start it back. And it's like every couple of minutes I get a new comment, and it's just like the it's just blowing my mind. I literally can't even speak. And I honestly don't even know what to say, to be real. But I guess I got to start by showing some of the progress I've done so far, which it ain't a whole lot, but basically I've cleaned up a bunch of the UI. It was just trash before. For instance, I've also uh, worked on some sort of spawn system. It's very crude and jank at the moment. So let me just play this real quick. So this is how it sits when you spawn in. And then I've actually centered up the UI. It looks offset, but that's because there's the other selections that are not visible yet. I could center that and like do some tweens and stuff, but to me it's just unnecessary. This works. So here's the parts list. You'll be able to get parts from, I don't know, maybe like a scavenger hunt or something. I haven't thought that far ahead yet, but I wanted to go ahead and implement the UI for it, for just in case. And now this is the car icon. So if you don't have a car selected, it'll show this icon. Click it, you know, you'll be able to scroll through your cars, but right now there's only one. So like that. And now you have customization available and drive, or exit, which is to go to the free roam. You click that. You can do all this that I've demonstrated. It's all the same. I did add a UI for the rims that'll be coming. The suspension's still broken. It was working, but I'm trying to fix it. Um, Something weird going on with the script where it's just constantly adding camber. I mean, it works if you're doing like a dumb build, but I mean, it doesn't really work. Uh, and then I've recentered all this, so all this should be as it should be. And that's pretty much it that I've done so far. I'm working on, honestly, just trying to get the UI working right is the initial goal right now. Because without the UI working right, the rest of this is not gonna work out. I should also mention that a lot of stuff is going to change in the end, mainly due to like copyright and whatnot. For instance, the Subaru badge will have to go and it'll have to be renamed something else because I don't want to deal with any of that copyright issues. And probably the garage will change too as well. But for now, for the testing purposes, this will work. I guess I could go ahead and talk about some of the features I'm working on implementing. So there'll be, we got the camera track width, which is how far out the wheel stick, and then there'll be ride height, which is how, the ride height, and probably rake if I can figure that out. Not sure how, but I would like to implement that. There'll be like a whole selection of wheels. The paint probably won't change. I mean, this will probably what's gonna be final. Be like a blue chrome or something. Must be green. I'm not sure where I'm gonna do it. I'll probably have a button or something over here where you could switch to another spot and select a car. Or I may not even do that. It depends on how complicated it's going to be. It may just be simpler to have just the spot and just have some like background cars over there. And also, I've got a Discord. I made it a while back, but I just haven't done anything with it. I'm gonna link it in the description. And after some further thought, I did a poll on my channel. If y'all haven't seen it yet. What? Holy shit, that took forever. Yeah, so I made this post, uh, basically appreciating all of y'all and trying to figure out if I should make a Patreon. And what I mean by it comes with benefits. So what I'm thinking is, I'll probably have a couple of tiers of the membership, and probably like a cheap option where it's just like $1 a month or something like that, where you could just support me because right now, I've got a full-time job, but it's a little more complicated. So I work third shifts at a factory. It's like what, 40 hours a week, I believe. So it's a pretty intense job. And right now I'm currently on, I guess you could call it a vacation, but not really because I ain't get paid for it. So basically my work has run out of work for me to do. And so they basically sent me home for, until work picks back up. So I've had about 2 months. This is my second month of no work. And luckily I'd saved up enough money to stretch it out between this gap between where I have no work. But yeah, I'm hoping that either we can like come up with some kind of plan to, because I need to make a profit off this game, like in some way, because I've spent so much time on it, and I just don't want it to be like I want people to play it, but I don't want to not make anything off of it. Back to what I was saying. So the Patreon is gonna have different tiers. Uh, tier one will be like, you know, you get credits for, support, and you get to like help me, you know, make bills on time, and then like, and also to help get higher quality models because these models I have they're dog shit. Like actually, and I actually have to go back and like remodel and like edit most of the models that I have that are just uh, off of the toolbox, really. In fact, that BRZ model is off of the toolbox from like years and years ago. But I've just, I've like remastered it a couple times myself on Blender. And I'm pretty well off of Blender. So, in fact, I'll actually, hold on a sec. Yeah, so this is my current Blender project. It is, well, it was a really shitty 91 Legacy model from the Roblox toolbox. And actually, I could find the original model on one of my older games, but you see, it looks pretty damn good for. Most of this has been redone by me because the topology of this was so god awful that like I almost considered restarting like from scratch because it was just that bad. Like you could see that looks, not bad for topology. And like, it looks pretty good. In fact, I actually had to remake this bumper because this was like a 90s model, like early 90s. Was pre-facelift. So it had like the fog lights down here and like the bumper was like flat. So I had to like remodel this shit from by hand actually. And I'm gonna pull up that file real quick and show you what it used to look like. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. This is the original model that I found on the toolbox. And luckily I did find it because like a couple of weeks after I found it, it disappeared. But it doesn't look terrible, but you could tell like all this looks wrong. And like the windows don't really look right. The front end's all wrong. And it's got really bad shading. Well, maybe I fixed it. But yeah, on the trunk it's got bad shading. Um, it's pretty much like it's not a bad model, but it's not great either. And so this this is what it looks like now that I've remastered it. In fact, I'll switch to material mode for a little sneak peek here. That's what it's supposed to look like. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is a 1991 Subaru Legacy Wagon L model. It's like the second facelift, I want to say. There was the 90s, early 90s model, which had this, boxy front like that, or it's got the fog lights. Then they had the second edition, which has this bumper. And then the third edition, which had the facelifted headlights that go up kind of like this shape right here. If you know, you know. So this will be one of the cars in the game. Real quick, I just want to go ahead and show some appreciation for y'all. So I'm gonna just scroll through all these comments because, I appreciate every single one of y'all. Like, I completely expected this to flop, like, get like 10 views. Like, my videos normally get like maybe 20 views in like a month. So this is really just blowing me out the water, and it's crazy. Hell, I missed a comment. Sorry about that. If I missed anyone else's comments here. Like I said, I've read every single one of y'all's comments, and you know, as you can see, and probably if you haven't gotten notified already, I've replied to every single one of y'all. I'm just like so appreciative. Like this is something that doesn't happen to me. Like usually what happens to me is like the complete opposite. Like everything is just like fuck fest in my life, literally, or a shit show, if you will. And I'm hoping that with all this publicity, that I can actually follow through with my dream of being a game developer. That's like my ultimate dream is to be a game developer and like be successful at it. And I have read some of y'all's comments. Well, I've read them all, but some of y'all have said, wanting to help with the project, as in like either wanting to help with map design or models and whatnot. And I appreciate that. Like, honest to God, if I was in a different, uh, I don't know what you call that, thought process or ideology or something like that. But basically, I want this game to be made by me and me only. I mean, that sounds kind of selfish, but I want this to be my legacy, basically. Like, you know, I want this to be like what people know me for is like, yo, he made that sick ass game, and not, oh, he's just some dude that there's there's a name, but there's nothing, you know what I mean? This is what I want to be like. I want this to be my legacy, basically. And my goal is to, you know, finish the game and then, publish it. Hopefully it takes off. And if it's really successful, I plan to remake it in Unreal Engine, since that's Unreal Engine 5 is what I'm kind of getting the hang of. It'll take me years to learn Unreal Engine, but that ultimately is probably the game engine I'm going with. So, yeah, and also when I do finish this game and like the game goes through its cycle, like, it takes off and then plateaus, and then, in a couple of years the game kind of dies out like most games do. I plan to share my assets if I can. Um, because I want to empower the creativity. I don't want to gatekeep, basically, because people in the Roblox community are so bad about gatekeeping, and I understand it. I've kind of gate kept this game because I wanted it to be I don't want it to be published in an unfinished state, kind of like Orange says. And it's been my whole idea this whole time was not to release an unfinished game. I'm just not a fan of that because every game nowadays is a beta and it stays in beta for years. Everything's always like broken, shit don't work right, buggy as hell. Midnight Racing. I I've said this in the comments. I don't want to start a beef or nothing, but I really am not a big fan of Midnight Racing Tokyo. Uh, I respect the devs. I admire their work and all that shit, but they've done so many like poor choices. Like they constantly nerf cars for no reason, and it's just you know you tell somebody or you tell them about it, and it takes them months to fix it. Like I remember they done the chassis update, and it took them like 2 or 3 months to fix the brakes on the Z31, and I told them about it like the day after the update came out. Which I get they have like priorities and shit, but like the car literally didn't stop, so it was unusable. And yeah, my goal is to publish a polished game that I can publish it and say it's good, and I ain't gotta constantly update it to fix bugs. Which I know that sounds unrealistic, but when you think about it, a lot of these people, or well, game creators, they have the mindset of, let me just get it out and get it tested, and then it just stays that way, and it just has bugs forever. I want to iron that shit out before it hits the market. Uh, so yeah, I've got a Discord channel ready, sorta. It's bland as fuck. Uh, one of y'all has y'all said you could help with that, so I'm gonna probably hit that up. Uh, Also, a lot of you have wanted to help, and right now, I think the best way to help is just to support me. Like, you don't have to. Here in the future, like soonish, I would, I will set up a Patreon because I will need financial support because I want to get higher quality models. And for instance, I want to get some models from this website because they got really good looking models. And this model looks fucking 30,000 times better than mine. Is Mine is just a BeamNG mod that I exported to Roblox. And this one has like proper textures, proper topology and tech PBR materials and all that. It's the right way to do it. But you can obviously see they're $95 a piece. And there's a few cars on here I want to get. But I'll save that for later. Right now we just need to get it going. Yeah, Discord will be in the description. Patreon might come in like a couple of days, maybe. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Uh, I got some advice from Anj, and he said not to really worry about a Patreon because it can cause some issues, which, you know, I could see that. But if y'all want to support me financially, where I can get better high quality models, then the game could look better. And help me pay for my bills too. That would be nice. Honestly, I'm hoping that I could make enough off of this to quit my job and do this full time. I would, if I could right now, I would quit my job and work on this game full time every day because this is literally my dream and it's happening right in front of me and I've just got to grasp onto it. I'm hoping that this gets to the right people that can spread it around, but not too much because I don't want to get, copyright from EA, as that one guy said in the comments. Because, yeah, I am kind of borrowing their assets, but I don't plan to use them forever, so I think I'll be alright. Like, I plan to remake this whole thing, this whole garage. I only use this because uh, I really love Need for Speed 2015. Like, I grew up kinda on that game. I loved everything about that game. You know, people talk shit about it all the time. Oh, the handling was shit. The the blah 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 was ass and nah. I think I think the game was perfect. I mean, it wasn't 100% perfect, but for me who used to play Xbox 360 games and my best graphics looked like GTA 5 on 360, going from that to Need for Speed 2015 was like a whole new world. And eventually, Need for Speed 2015 is going to go offline, probably within a couple of years. And we probably won't be able to play it. And I wanted to recreate it in Roblox so that when that happens, we could all have something that's very similar and have that like core memory. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say. Uh, join the Discord so you can get more daily updates. Not daily updates, but more frequent updates. I forgot to mention. So, all of the engine sounds, exhaust sounds, and well, some of the intake sounds. Basically, 90% of the car sound or exhaust sounds in the game are from Onge the Great's Engine Simulator. So, shout out to him for making Engine Simulator because if Engine Simulator didn't exist, this probably would have never even happened because uh, making exhaust sounds for cars was such a pain in the ass without it. And ever since he made it, it's been a breeze. So, yeah. I don't know if Anj is gonna watch this, but shout out to you. And he's like a big inspiration for me. Like, I look up to him, and I've followed him since before Engine Simulator blew up. And I'm probably gonna follow him until I, I guess he retires. But yeah, so if anyone is interested in how I get such good sounds, just use Engine Simulator. Also, as a bonus clip, I'm gonna try and make a thumbnail for the game and the video. But I gotta figure out how I want to do that and where, because there's not much of anything to this map. I think back here will do because it's got the most lights. That's what we need. Yeah. I think that might work. Yes, we'll do something like that. I don't know what's going on with this, but I'll go ahead and gonna set this to 45. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Cannot do something like that. Maybe. Give her a little tilt. Good. Honestly.